Hello and welcome to Chaotic Chintan, our attempt at understanding the chaos around us. Today we're back with episode 2 of our coverage of the US election, the most polarized election till date, where the stakes are seemingly much higher than ever before. This election is seeing some really high interest, with 38 million votes already cast 10 days before the election. In this high stakes election, Mr. Donald Trump has threatened his opponents, who he calls the enemy within, his critics, even comedians, with punishments and jail time. And you wonder why the stakes are so high. Both sides see this election as an endgame, a fight for the survival of democracy in US, a fight for reproductive rights, and a fight for economic freedom. The right sees the illegal immigration as the biggest issue, and Biden's legalization of millions of illegal immigrants, some of whom went on to commit very violent crimes. The left sees this as politicization of a serious issue and something that could pose threat to millions of legal immigrants who have worked hard to gain a life in the US. This polarized debate has left the lives of millions of immigrants in question. Let's look into how America ended up here. But before that, who are the candidates in this election and why is it so polarized? The candidates in this election are Kamala Harris, the Democrat nominee, who is currently the Vice President and formerly a US Senator and Attorney General of the state of California; Donald Trump, the Republican nominee, formerly the US President and a businessman; Jill Stein, the Green Party nominee; Chase Oliver, Libertarian Party nominee; Cornel West, who is an independent, a philosopher, and an activist. There are other minor candidates as well, but these are the key figures recognized by most polling agencies as significant. Harris and Trump are the two serious contenders in this election, and they have represented a significant shift from the previous elections with vitriolic rhetoric and frequent personal attacks. The incumbent Vice President Kamala Harris, also the former Attorney General of the state of California, is a law school graduate. Her running mate is Tim Walz, currently the governor of Minnesota, formerly a congressman who started out as a teacher. Donald Trump is currently the head of Trump Organization, a huge conglomerate that he inherited from his father. Oh, and also the former president. Elon Musk is a billionaire tech mogul who is aggressively buying petition signatures and campaigning in this election. But wait, he's not the running mate, is he? Trump's running mate is J.D. Vance. Who? J.D. Vance is currently a senator from Ohio, a venture capitalist whose career is not really well known or publicly written about prior to 2016. He is also a graduate of Yale Law School. Now, why is everyone so emotionally invested in this election? Why do both sides have such a bleak outlook if the other side wins? So, to understand the fuss about polarization, we need to know more about the candidates and the environment in which they're currently running. Let's begin with Trump's persona, a persona he has carefully crafted with decades of media management and publicity, both positive and negative, well, mostly negative. Donald Trump is a man who claims that he won the 2020 election, which, as per the American Election Commission, he has definitely lost.
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Now, if you think Mr. Trump's denial of the election loss is just one of his stages of grief, guess again. A new expose reveals that Mr. Trump knew he lost the election and still chose to fight it out. But this isn't the only misleading or dangerous statement that Mr. Trump has made. Mr. Trump and several of his supporters are claiming that Democrats have diverted FEMA money to housing for illegal immigrants.
Kamala spent all her FEMA money, billions of dollars, on housing for illegal migrants, many of whom should not be in our country.
This has been fact-checked by many people and proven to be untrue. He has also claimed that Haitian immigrants in Ohio's Springfield are eating pets.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. And
These pet eating statements have resulted in significant impact to those immigrants' lives, with Ohio having to turn into a police state to combat fears of violence and threats in schools and public places. By far, the most ludicrous claim of all happened when Trump was campaigning against federal laws on abortion. While claiming that it must be left up to the states, Mr. Trump said that Democrats are allowing abortions up to the last month of pregnancy and even terminating live babies.
But her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born.
He often contradicts himself, usually immediately and repeatedly in the same speech. Now, in spite of all of this, Mr. Trump enjoys a very loyal fan base who, in their own words, don't care and are ready to ignore it all. This follows a general theme where Donald Trump can say anything he likes, and he is never held accountable. So, is this all just dangerous rhetoric from a person who's trying to win votes? Or is it something more? To understand that, we need to look at both candidates' policies. Take a look at Mr. Trump's policies and some of the amusing language that is used. Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. End inflation and make America affordable again. Prevent World War III. Restore peace in Europe and in the Middle East. And build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country, all made in America. Wonder how peace in Europe is going to be made in America. Here's another one. Keep the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. Some interesting policies there, some of which seem a bit far-fetched, just as far-fetched as some of his claims. This is Trump's Make America Great Again agenda. While this popular slogan is largely associated with Donald Trump, it was originally coined by Ronald Reagan, a very folksy and populist president candidate of the time. It was highly controversial at the time because it was perceived to be a racist invocation. With all these tall claims and policy decisions, one has to wonder what is Mr. Trump's real motivation for running for this election. He certainly seems to want to pardon himself for all the crimes that he is accused of. In contrast, take a look at Kamala Harris's policies. There is a stark difference in the language used by Trump and Harris in both of their policy platforms. The Democrat platform is still reminiscent of a bygone era, where it was unacceptable to denigrate anyone, people were friendly and respectful of each other's opponents, and debates were usually about policy making and not personal. Take a look at both parties' previous policy platforms under different leaders. George Bush's platform for the Grand Old Party and Barack Obama's platform for the Democrat Party. And you can see the difference.
The truth is, actually, words do inspire. Words do help people get involved. Words do help members of Congress get into power so that they can be part of a coalition to deliver.
The office of the president is one of dignity, decorum.
And those two people that went down are patriots, and we love them. Yes. And because of them, we ended up with some good music, right? Right?
And to uphold the values and principles that guide a nation.
CNN is fake news. Don't talk to me. Go ahead, please.
The president serves as a symbol of unity and stability, bearing the weight of people's trust.
I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
While demonstrating humility, wisdom, and respect for the rule of law.
We need law and order.
You can also see how presidential debates have changed over the years.
I do not believe in, I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about. He's not. Thank you.
You called it the gold standard. You called it the gold standard of trade deals. You said it's the finest deal you've ever seen.
No.
And then you heard what I said about it, and all of a sudden you were against it.
Well, Donald, I know you live in your own reality, but that is not the fact.
You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there.
Shocking how much has changed in 20 years. Coming back to where we are today, let's talk about Donald Trump's running mate who isn't on the ticket. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is very well known for his work ethic and his success in the tech industry. But today, we're going to talk about how this billionaire tech mogul is reshaping the election $1 million at a time. Mr. Musk is attempting to buy petition signatures. He was initially offering $47 to anyone from swing states only to refer a friend to sign the petition for the right to bear arms and free speech. That offer increased to $100 as we edge closer to the election. Not to mention the fact that he will select one random petition signatory every day and give them $1 million. Petition shopping aside, let's talk about why Mr. Elon Musk seems to have such a great vested interest in this election. The Republican platform has an agenda to promote manufacturing in near-Earth orbit and enhance partnerships with the rapidly expanding commercial space sector. Now, it's not unusual for party platforms to have policies in favor of supportive lobbies. But this is probably one of those rarest of the rare times where a 4-year policy platform is promising something that is still 20 years in the making. More interestingly, Trump has accepted Elon Musk's offer to be in charge of restructuring the government and planning government efficiency. Elon Musk will be the head of the non-existent Government Efficiency Commission. This commission will be in charge of restructuring industry and environmental regulations that can shape the future of the very companies that he owns. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. You may wonder, how exactly did we get here? There are several factors that have precipitated into the current situation. Probably the most well-known factor is the formation of social media bubbles due to social media companies employing algorithms that show you content based on your interests. Another equally significant factor is the acceptance of these unregulated social media platforms as the source of truth. You might wonder why people aren't able to fact-check themselves despite the existence of social media bubbles. Well, the body of knowledge has expanded so much today that it's impossible for anyone to understand exactly how everything works. Today's experts are usually highly specialized in very narrow fields. While there is a vast array of information available, there is also relatively much less pressure today for people to be informed because it's all available at your fingertips via search engine. And of course, there is a sudden flood of generative AI-inspired memes, some of which are so good in quality that it's difficult to tell whether it's a real picture or AI made. In spite of all of this, it blows the mind how voters are still undecided. Sure, it's an election full of chaos and there's so much engaging content out there. But beyond that, as non-Americans, why do we really care? Despite all this chaos, America is still a world superpower. And the policy decisions of their federal government has far-reaching impacts to the rest of the world. If Donald Trump is elected, there will be new tariffs on imports. Not to mention climate change impacts. Foreign policy heavily influenced by Trumpist diplomacy. Not to mention the largest deportation in the history of the United States. Beyond these tangible impacts, there is also the philosophical impact, where many countries in the world are already electing extreme right parties to their government. Trump's return to America will only exacerbate this trend. The unfortunate end of statesmanship, a sense of impunity for future politicians who believe they need to follow the same tactics to win, a dissociation of politics from reality, not to mention a fundamental change to the dynamics and foundation of what will make stable societies. American elections and their policy decisions, as you can see, are important to the whole world because they're usually the beginning of a global trend. Despite all these alarming claims by both sides, it's unlikely that any drastic measures will be implemented, regardless of who wins. The US is neither going to become a radical left Marxist communist state, nor is it going to become a complete autocracy. The only thing that is likely to come true is Donald Trump pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord if he wins. And if past data is any indication, it's likely that Donald Trump and Elon Musk will have a falling out soon after the election. Thank you for watching this episode about the US elections. We will be back with another video to understand the chaos around us. Until then, please like, share, subscribe, and leave comments for your thoughts.